G'day there everyone, how you going this week? Thought we'd give a crack on how to actually grow some sprouts. So grow our own food in our own house. We don't need a garden, we can just have water and a little bit of light. No sunlight required, no sunshine required. So we've got alfalfa seeds, pumpkin seeds, red clover, mung beans, chia seeds and white clover. Plenty of seeds you can choose. Most important thing is to actually choose sprouting seeds or eating seeds. They must not be growing seeds because they'll have nasty chemicals on them and lots of bad things. So we'll start with our alfalfa seeds. So in our sieve, now we could do this over the sink, but I thought I'd just do it here. So rinse these properly. Really super important to rinse them all. And then once you've done that, you get your sterilised jar. Now I've sterilised these with a bit of White King and super hot water. You could do them in the oven if you wanted to. And so don't touch the insides if you can help it. Our rinsed seeds, scoop them up, pop them in the jar. Now this is 1 tablespoon I've used. Now this will turn into like a whole cup of alfalfa seeds. They expand heaps. Now today is day 0, so we're just going to actually soak these, and they have to be soaked overnight. So I'm using some warm water, filling the jar up completely, spilling a bit of water on the ground, like as you do. Using a piece of mesh that you can see through over the top, which will keep out any of the bugs. Elastic band, rubber band over the top. And that's going to sit basically in the dark. So we'll pop that in the pantry, and tomorrow morning we'll be ready for day 1. We've rinsed all the different types of seeds, and I did discover that some of the seeds are tiny. So I went with a different piece of equipment, a good old-fashioned tea strainer. This one's got really fine mesh, so that was really helpful for those tiny little seeds. So ideally just run it under the water and it'll be actually perfect. So that's basically our first step. Now the mesh is just to keep out some bugs apparently, so it doesn't really do anything, but we will use it later on as a filter. So the equipment we needed was just running water, a sieve or a fine tea strainer sieve, some mesh of some description, some clean jars which have been sterilised, rubber bands, and our seeds, and we're good to go. So tomorrow is going to be our first day, so see you then. G'day there again. We're going to make some micro herbs or microgreens. So I've actually purchased these from Bunnings, and good old Bunnings. Now I actually bought the microgreens tray. I think it was about $20, but I haven't done it before, and I didn't want to do it in soil or potty mix, so I wanted to do it hydroponically. So we fill the tray up with water, and typical Vicki style, I've never done this before, so let's experiment and have fun in the kitchen. Putting the actual trays back in, sitting on the water. Now it says to actually put a very thin piece of tissue paper, so I've cut up some tissue, and this was a 3-ply tissue, so I'm just pulling one section at a time off and just putting that down. Oops, put it upside down there. It's going to turn. Peel that one away. Then we've got our seeds. So these are seriously tiny seeds. So this is basil. Good old basil. I'm going to use maybe a half of a teaspoon. Now it says to sprinkle on the paper. So we'll sprinkle one side with basil, one side with rocket. So once again we'll use a half a teaspoon. Really tiny little seeds. Sprinkle on the top of the tissue paper. that's now soaking up into the water. And you can see why it needs a tissue, because they are tiny. They would just fall through the paper. Now these are sunflower seeds, so I'm going to go with a tablespoon of sunflower seeds. Sprinkle them on. Right. So now we get our little spray bottle out and we give them a gentle spray on the top. Make sure the spray bottle's working. A little spray. Cover them with foil. Now we cover them with foil until they develop roots. So a couple of times a day we need to just give them a gentle spray with water. Once they develop roots, we take the foil away and then it's just up to the actual daylight.
The next day.
Morning everybody, we've taken our sprouts out of the pantry. So today is day 1. So we rinse off, drain off all the water out of the mung beans. We're going to do right this very moment. Under the tap, rinse, pour off, rinse again, pour it off, now drain. And we're going to actually need something we can have a bit of an angle to make sure we drain it all off. I'm using a teacup. Later on today I'm going to go to the op shop and see if I can find an old dish rack that'll actually have all of them in a row, and I'll pop them underneath the windowsill, but not in direct sunlight. And we also have our tray of microgreens, which are going okay, so they're fine. Back under the foil until their roots develop.
Day 4.
Morning everybody, back to our sprout little project. So today is Friday, so that's actually day 4. So I've rinsed and drained them 3 times a day since Monday, which was day 0. So our pumpkin seeds, don't recommend doing them. I think I'm going to throw those in the bin. I haven't been happy with those ones. Oh, and by the way, couldn't find a dish rack at the op shop, so I kept with my teacups. They've worked perfectly, so I don't have to do it. These were the red clover seeds. They have worked. They probably need another day, so they're going good. Not a lot of volume in those. The white clover seeds, exactly the same. Not a lot of volume, but they are working. Our mung beans, they've been fabulous. They've got lots of little sprouts happening, and there's only the odd one little darkish one, which we'll pull out. The alfalfa, wow, what a power pack of little beasts these are. 1 little teaspoon of those, and look, a whole jar of goodness. So today I think we're actually going to try some of the alfalfa. And so I've left those, the mesh and the bands on them every day, and I've just put them under the tap and then tip them up. So most of these look like they've sprouted really well. I'll just put some on the paper for us to have a look at. And they're nice and fluffy. And it looks like most of the seeds are actually have sprouted. So I've got a little salad. Sprinkle them on the salad. I'll have a taste. Oh, they're really crispy, sort of nutty. Actually really delicious. Time to check our mung beans. Same deal, I just left that mesh on them and just rinsed away. These are fabulous. A little bit more defined, fine little tail on them. Yeah, they're good. Excellent. Now we could add these to a salad, on a stir fry, just anything really. So simple, easy options to actually choke yourself when you're actually talking with a mung bean in your mouth. But seriously, fantastic project. Try it over the holidays and speak to you soon. Bye. Back again. Sorry, whilst I was munching away on my salad and absolutely enjoying our sprouts, I've forgotten to tell you that now that they've sprouted, it's time to put them in an airtight container and in the fridge, making sure that they're still very well drained. So happy sprouting.